Are you going back and forth to the vet for the same issue over and over and over again with your pets, where they might have a chronic ear problem, you treat it, it goes away, and then all of a sudden it comes back, right? You thought that the medications that you use, maybe they have allergies where they're scratching, they're chewing at their paws, and you go to the vet and they put them on Apoquel, Cytopoint, maybe antibiotics, and you're like, the itchiness went away. Maybe we fixed the allergies. Who has been in this situation before where you've used a medication and the problems seem to go away, but then you either stop the medication or the medication really stopped working and that symptom you were seeing returned? If you've been there, you're not alone, I promise. And this is what we're going to be talking about today, is whether or not you're really treating the root imbalance of what created the symptoms. So if you're returning, welcome back. Happy 2023. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Dr. Katie Woodley, holistic veterinarian and founder of The Natural Pet Doctor. And we're on a mission to make sure that you, as the amazing pet parent that you are, feel empowered and supported and confident that you're actually treating the root imbalance for why your pet got sick in the first place. So this is something where this year, we are so determined, I'm so determined to make sure that you guys truly understand why disease occurs, why these symptoms keep coming back, and two, how to prevent disease in the first place, right? Proactive approach versus a reactive approach. When we're on the bottom side of the cliff and the ambulance is coming to us, it's a lot harder to climb back up that cliff once things are broken. And that is my commitment to you, 2023, to show you how everything is interconnected so you truly understand why you're using a supplement, how to use food therapy and holistic medicine, not like conventional medicine where we're only treating symptoms. And that's what's keeping you stuck in that vicious cycle of going back and forth to the vet clinic. So if you're with me and you're super excited to go a bit deeper versus just what supplement to give me a thumbs up or a heart if you're following along, because this is a different type of approach. Yes, supplements are important. Herbal medicine is important. Food is medicine. Yes, these are all important things, but I find pet parents get stuck and you get frustrated and you get confused and you get overwhelmed, right, with all the information that's out there. So if you're ready for this new beginning, 2023 can be so different. It can help reduce those vet bills, those vet visits, the frustration that you're feeling. Make sure you join our free masterclass. That's going to be on January 17th. So there's a link in the description or the link in our bio. So make sure that you join that to learn a bit more, where we're going to dive deeper into those root imbalances. So definitely check that out. But today, I wanted to start with a personal story, because this is the reason why I'm here. You know, I didn't go to vet school being like, I'm going to be a holistic veterinarian. I thought I was living a pretty holistic lifestyle. I've never really used like Tylenol or medications if I had a headache or things like that. You know, I've eaten pretty clean. I always ate my vegetables and things like that, had a pretty clean diet. Now, here's the thing though. I didn't truly understand. And 6 months after moving back from New Zealand, I went to vet school in New Zealand, married an amazing Kiwi man, brought him back with me to the States, but a couple years after starting my vet career in New Zealand, and bam, all of a sudden, he has an autoimmune disease. We are sitting in that doctor's office, and I will never forget that day. The lack of hope I felt, the frustration, the worry, that I was like, this is it. This is the rest of our life, where we received that diagnosis. And I know a lot of pet parents here have had similar health experiences and journeys with themselves, where you're fine one day, right? And then all of a sudden you're not. And you're sitting across from that doctor and that gastroenterologist, and hearing there's nothing you can do other than these strong immunosuppressive drugs, and they don't always work. and they can come with severe side effects potentially, but it doesn't always happen to, you're probably not the majority of people, right? And I remember sitting there and thinking, oh my God, if I feel this devastated, how does my husband feel, right? It's him that's experiencing this. We're going through this together. And we left that office. And I remember thinking as we left, no, we're going to find a different way. And we ended up going down the rabbit hole and researching and trying to find all the information. We joined different programs. We bought all the different supplements. We tried all these different things, right? And through that process, I realized I could be doing so much better for my pet patients, where here I am, essentially like that gastroenterologist on the other side of the exam table, telling my clients there is nothing else we can do. When we have chronic allergies, the medicine's not working. When we have cancer, we have chronic illnesses, autoimmune disease, and conventional medicine is not working anymore. And I decided that I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to rob people of their hope, because we found a different way treating autoimmune disease, learning about holistic medicine and how everything is integrated and how there's a root cause, sometimes causes that can play a part for why we see these symptoms. It's not that, okay, one day we woke up and the body decided to break itself. And here's the thing, the same exact things apply to your pets. Yes, we're a little bit different, but we come at this in such the wrong way, where we're looking at treating symptoms versus asking the better question of, why did something go wrong? Why is my pet itchy? Why do they have chronic diarrhea? Why do they have allergies? Those are very different questions than what drug or supplement do I give to stop the itchiness? We have to broaden our approach and ask the deeper questions of why did something happen? And when we ask better questions, we get better answers. And that's really, really key. And I find a lot of times we end up going down this path where we hear that Susie's using, this supplement for her dog's itchiness, and it worked really well for her dog. We've got to buy that. And we try it for a couple of days. And then all of a sudden it's not working, or maybe our pets get diarrhea from it. And you're like, oh, just put it in the cabinet. And all of a sudden you have a supplement graveyard. Who has been there? Who has a supplement graveyard right now? If I were to go to your house right now and open up your cabinet or your pantry and see what supplements do you have for yourselves, for your pets, would you consider it a supplement graveyard? I'm at fault here. I'll be completely 100% transparent, where, going down this path where trying to fix my husband, trying to do all these things, learning about all these different supplements, I was at fault. I didn't truly understand why the body decided to attack itself. And when we started shifting our approach and diving deeper into how all these different systems, the gut, the microbiome, the immune system, the gut-brain axis, the skin to gut axis, how emotional health, environmental health, how well are we detoxing our bodies? Those are all essential components to healing the symptom, healing the root cause, which takes away the symptoms for good. This is why, if we're only looking at how to use supplements for the symptom, if you stop the supplement or the supplement just doesn't work anymore, it's because you missed the root cause. This is such a different approach than conventional medicine. And here's something that's going to probably be a little abrasive to a lot of people, is you may be using those supplements like a conventional drug. I see all the time pet parents asking, what do I use to stop the itchiness? What supplement do you use? It's the exact same question as, well, you could use Apoquel to stop the itch. You could use the drug. We need to start asking why. It's not easier. It's a lot harder. This is why we create programs to help guide pet parents through this process, to support them, because it took me years to figure this out. It took me having to go through my husband developing autoimmune disease 9 years ago and realizing there was a better approach. So I want you to ask yourself this year, when you pick up a supplement or you're thinking about buying a supplement, I want you to ask yourself, why am I using this? Is it to treat a symptom, Or is it to help complement healing the root imbalance? Do I know what the root imbalance is? The good thing is that we have a lot of functional medicine tests where we can actually see what is the root imbalance versus a blood test or a stool test that, like, once again, we check for Giardia, they're negative for Giardia. Let's just keep treating them with metronidazole because the diarrhea won't go away. Well, the pet is not deficient in metronidazole, and the metronidazole is not fixing the root imbalance. That's why the diarrhea keeps coming back. But essentially what we've done now is we put ourselves onto this vicious hamster wheel where we've unbalanced the body even more. Now, there is a time and a place for conventional medicine. So I don't want people to assume I'm against drugs, I'm against conventional medicine. We need them. The integrative approach is very important, especially for emergency situations. And when we need a drug to calm things down quickly because of quality of life. However, there's so many ways that we can integrate herbs and food therapy and food as medicine to actually resolve that imbalance over time. It takes time, and we have to get away from this quick, fast results, immediate, like, why isn't that herb working? It's not working. You jump to the next thing, and we didn't give the body enough time to heal. So I want to ask you, like, what would it do for you if you shifted your perspective on how long does it take to heal the body? What would that do for you? Would it give you some peace of mind that you're on the right path? This is a slower journey, but we're asking the right questions. We're utilizing the right supplements. We're supporting the body the way it needs to be supported. And so when we start shifting our approach to root imbalances, this is where I go, what pillars of health, right? This is where everything's interconnected. And we want to be looking at, okay, physical health. Are we getting out? Are we moving? Are we getting that lymphatic system? The lymphatic system is the way we get rid of toxins. It's a big part of the detox pathway. And movement, exercise, play are essential to getting the lymphatic system moving. That's an essential pillar. What are we doing for gut health and nutrition? Is there something that we can do to help optimize and support the diet better? If you're like completely confused on like what foods to feed, how to optimize diet, we have a free guide for you guys, the simple guide to optimizing your pet's nutrition. So you can download that. There's a link in our bio. And there's also on our website, thenaturalpetdoctor.com, where you can download that free guide. There's tips on transitions, superfoods, things to watch for, free balanced recipes and brands that we love and support that we use for our own pets and also recommend for patients every single day. So definitely get some of these free resources and start diving in and asking those questions. Okay, I'm feeding a processed food diet. I'm feeding kibble. I'm learning about the microbiome because you're watching, webinars like this, you're following other holistic practitioners and you're learning. That's key. And then asking yourself the question, okay, I might not be able to change the diet 100% to something like a lightly cooked or raw food diet, but what are the things that I can start adding on as superfood toppers that are going to support the gut health, that are going to support that microbiome? The other pillar of health is your immune system. The immune system is intimately connected with the gut health. This is something we dive really deep on with our Better Gut Health program that's launching actually next week, the 5th, or it's like a week and a day. So if you really want to go deep and learn how everything is interconnected with that gut health, especially if you're experiencing allergies or chronic diarrhea, your dog every few months flares up with, a hemorrhagic gastroenteritis, so bloody diarrhea, and you keep going to the vet and they keep prescribing metronidazole or Tylenol powder, this is where we need to ask those better questions. What's off in the gut? Is the microbiome healthy? Is my pet's immune system okay? When we ask those questions, once again, we get better answers and we get better results. So that immune system is key. Are we putting things into our pets' bodies? This can be vaccines, this can be flea and tick medications. So things that we think are supporting the body, but may actually be aggravating the immune system and keeping our pet in this chronic state of imbalance, chronic inflammation, overstimulating the immune system, and keeping your pet from improving. So when we understand what those things do, and we look for other alternatives that we can use to, keep our pets safe, or making sure that we're not over vaccinating them by running things like blood titers to see if they have the antibodies against those certain diseases, that's going to help improve your pet's overall health. It's going to make it easier to heal them. So if you are dealing with a chronic health issue, we got to lower the threshold. Your pet, like that threshold of illness where we see symptoms, we cross over it, your pet might be up here. So if we can reduce some of the things and get under that threshold so the body goes, oh, thank God, and it calms down and inflammation can be resolved, that's where we want to go. The other two big areas that play a huge part in potentially being a root imbalance for your pet are going to be emotional health. Who here's felt stress in the past few years? Like just a little bit, right? The world's a little crazy. So stress can be really, really like common, and it becomes a thing of, in terms of the stress that we feel, it just can kind of become our norm, right? Who else feels that way? Where you're like, I'll be fine. It's all right. I'll just get through it. And you like plow through your day, and you're just like constantly like, you have this vibrating like anxiety where you're just like, I feel so like stressed out, but I have to get through all these things. And this is where, when you're stressed, being able to recognize that stress is so, so, so important. I find this is becoming a much bigger issue, especially over these last few years, where so many people have been stressed. We're moving into a new year. There's a lot of economic instability. People are worried about finances, potentially losing their jobs. And what happens is our pets pick up on that. They are so good at absorbing our stress for us when we aren't managing it or even recognizing that it's happening. And I'm not saying like you can remove all stress, right? Stress is important to get us to move our butts and get us to take action and things like that. But what are we doing to calm that stress down? Do we have routines in place to help with that? Are we taking care of ourselves? What is your self-care protocol? I know we're talking about pets, but this can be such a limiting factor if you're doing all the other things right, but you're not managing the emotional health pillar. There's so much research on showcasing that stress alone can create leaky gut. That's inflammation in the gut lining. That will cause food sensitivities. That will cause things like allergies. And all of a sudden, yes, there's a gut health imbalance, but because of that gut-brain connection through the vagus nerve, we completely miss that the actual imbalance was due to the stress. So you can see how things are interconnected, but if we're only looking at the symptoms of itchy skin, okay, maybe we can go, there's a leaky gut. Let's do a leaky gut protocol. Let's treat a secondary yeast. And guess what? Not every itchy pet has a yeast issue. That's commonly overdiagnosed by pet parents. A lot of times it comes back to the gut, but once again, the gut's also connected to the brain because everything's interconnected. So if your pet's feeling stressed because we're not managing our stress, that could be the cause of the gut imbalance. So if we don't address that, it's like you stay stuck in that cycle. So these are the things that we teach pet parents because they're so commonly missed. And I can tell you right now, veterinarians are not taught this. We are not taught to see those connections. I know that because I've been there. I didn't learn this. I had to learn this because my husband's health broke, and then I had to learn it because no one else was going to teach it to me. And so that's the power of a holistic integrative approach. Holistic meaning looking at how everything's interconnected, looking at how we are connected to our pets, looking at the emotional health. And then the final pillar that's so important, which is a huge problem, especially because we can't see it. It's like a silent threat every single day, is the environmental component. And this is where the environmental component, the toxins that we're exposed to, there's so many chemicals out there. And this was a huge part in my own personal pet health journey. We've had 3 pets with cancer, and it was the biggest wake-up call to, wow, our city sprays a lot of like herbicides, glyphosate, and we can't always control it, right? But when we know, we can do better. And that's the key. So if we know about something, we become more aware about it. And then we can do something about it. So what that means specifically, especially for my household and my own health, because here's the thing, guys, your animals are like canaries in the mine, right? Who else agrees with that? It can be a little bit scary, and this is not meant to create fear. This is meant to empower you to be able to take action because we know better. The thing is that our pets, especially for me, right? We had 3 pets with cancer in a short period of time. And I went, oh my God, what's going on inside of me, right? Because we have longer lifespans. So we tend to be a bit more tolerant of these things than our pets. They have shorter lifespans, huge wake-up call. So if you're seeing your pets develop these health conditions, we need to go, what's in the environment? Is there something in the environment? What's potentially in the water? Have we ever tested our water? We've talked a lot on previous coffee talks about being able to look at your water and go to the environmental working group, type in your zip code if you're in the States, and you can actually see what chemicals are in your water. It's pretty scary. So which is why I always recommend some type of water filter. There's all sorts of different types of ways to, clean up your water. But also, what are your neighbors doing? Have you ever just like been present when you're walking in the neighborhood and looking for those yellow flags? They're everywhere here. I have never lived somewhere where so many people use pesticides, herbicides on their lawns, even through winter. I'm like, what are you doing, people? Like, dude, your yard looks as good as mine and I use nothing on it. So that is something where we can go, okay, I live in an environment where I can't control what other people do, right? I can try to inform them and educate them, and hopefully they like become more aware of the impact that it's having on not only their health, their children's health, their pets' health, and the environmental health, which is a huge component, and the soil health, which is impacting our food, like all these things, once again, in a holistic approach. But if I know that that's an issue, I can support the detoxification pathways better. This doesn't mean just using milk thistle. There are so many other pathways that are important when we are supporting detoxification. But I want you to take a step back, and I want you to just take a look at that and be like, why? Okay, why am I using this? It's not just to use something, right? To buy something because Dr. Katie said, slippery elm is good or milk thistle is great. Why am I using it? And how often should I use it? So for me personally, I add in detoxification support the majority of the week for my cats. Something that, I rotate and alternate brands because I know that even though they're indoors only, and I'm taking my shoes off and I'm using clean products inside the home, when I go outside, I know I bring that in. And so that's really, really important. So assessing, like, once again, I love this. Like, what are the food bowls made of? I love the Mind Pet Platter. So, so awesome. If you're not using that, highly, highly recommend it if you can get it with where you're at. It's great. So the Mind Pet Platter is fantastic. If you're not sure what I mean by that, just send us an email. You can use code Dr. Katie and get, I believe it's some discount. So better than nothing, right? I think it's 10 or 50. I think it's 10% off, maybe 20% off. Anyways, Mind Pet Platter is amazing, but assessing, like every time we pick something up, looking at that back of the bottle. I do this with like shampoos for my own self, and I like reassess, could I do better? Am I using too many chemicals on myself? Am I using too many chemicals with my pets? Those are very important things. It's something we can do. And here's the thing, because you might be feeling a little overwhelmed, right? Like there's so many factors. Oh my God, how do I know? Where do I start? What do I do? I want to challenge you 2023. I usually leave people with a challenge, and it can be very similar because here's the thing, when we follow the pillars, when we follow frameworks, they work. They work for a reason. It's just the hard part is following them consistently, right? Showing up, doing it. But what I want to challenge you with 2023 is, what is one thing? What is one thing that you can change that would optimize your pet's health? Maybe it's more exercise and activity. Maybe it's playing with your cats, like setting aside time and just being like, I'm going to actively engage, be present, and play with my cats every day. And then as that becomes a habit, it's just like part of the normal routine. Okay, what's the next one thing? Okay, maybe it's time to change that laundry detergent. And this will vary for every single pet parent here. but it is huge, and it removes the stress of feeling like you need to overhaul everything. So I want you to start there. You can share it in the comments, cheer each other on. Like, I love seeing what pet parents are doing or they're committing to so I can support them, because we're all in this together. We're all on different phases of our journey. I might be here, you might be at the beginning of your holistic pet journey. I'm so grateful you're here. So remember to be kind to yourself and to allow yourself room to improve and to learn and to grow, because it's a beautiful journey. And so being present and learning and taking action is what will help us achieve optimal pet health, reduce those unwanted vet visits and those vet bills, right? Everyone here wants cheaper vet care, but healthier pets. That's key. And so commit. What is one thing, the one thing that you can do to help yourselves? And if you are like, what are all these questions, right? I have so many questions that are jumping up. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel, Dr. Katie Woodley, the Natural Pet Doctor. We have a lot of great information to help guide you on how to reduce some of these toxins, like flea and tick preventatives, heartworm medications. There's a lot of free information there. And also on our website, thenaturalpetdoctor.com. We kept it super simple. If you type in The Natural Pet Doctor, you'll find me. So that way you can start taking action. Make 2023 the year of action. One of the things that I've always regretted is not moving fast enough and hesitating because I was scared. And when we commit to taking action one step at a time, the momentum, right? Asking yourself, how can I improve 1% today? And think about that every day, 1%. Where would you be in 1 year? And focusing on these root causes, asking those questions like, why am I using this? Why is this symptom occurring? And just diving deep into the education, joining our communities, joining our programs if you want extra support and guidance from myself and other amazing pet parents who are also on this journey with you. But make sure you join our masterclass that's free, January 17th, where we're going to be diving a bit deeper into some of these root imbalances. So that way you can truly understand, feel confident in taking those next steps to help your pets, especially if you are stuck in that vicious cycle of chronic health conditions that keep recurring, keep you going back to the vet clinic for the same issue. You're worried about the medications that you're using. What are the long-term side effects? I promise you there is a path out. The holistic journey, it is a journey. It takes longer, but I promise you it's a beautiful journey, especially when you feel more confident about what you're doing. And then when you start seeing the results of the action that you're taking, it's incredible. So I'm here to support you along that. So make sure you register for the masterclass. The link is in our bio. If you're watching on Instagram, the link is in the description. If you're following along on Facebook. And if you have any questions, just send an email to info@thenaturalpetdoctor.com in terms of the masterclass itself, or if you're looking for a deep dive into how do I better support my pet parent or my pets with holistic pet care this year, because I'm done with going to the vet for the same thing over and over and over again. And you are ready for the transformation of your pet's health. So I love it. I see you guys in the comments. I appreciate you. I appreciate you taking time out of this beautiful Friday morning. We are just not even a week into 2023, and this year is going to be phenomenal. The year of growth, the year of action, the year of transforming your pet's health and your health too. So I can't wait. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to us. If you're not already on our newsletter, jump in. There's lots of free content that I release every single week on our newsletter to help guide you even more along this journey. Goals to get you results as fast as possible and help you feel confident that you understand why and you know why you're doing something. So everyone, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate each and every single one of you. You are why I do what I do, and I cannot wait for the rest of this year to help empower you and be together on this journey.